seeing the list and not being able to answer most of the questions. And I made it my business to learn all the answers to those questions. And all the answers came out of the fundamental understanding of our philosophy, that there is a reason for everything. Everything has a reason, and that there's an intelligence within everything, that it never does anything wrong, that you can't say, it's okay for my body to feel this, but it's not okay for my body to feel this. It's like, it's all exactly the way it's supposed to be, and we get to look at it and explore it. So I implore you, CAs, spouses, learn the physiology of the body. It's so simple. Have your doctors help you, or read some really basic information. Learn about the workings of the body, so that when people come up to you and they ask you a question, or they tell you about a symptom, you go, wow, why do you think your body would do that? It's like, employ all of the curiosity that Bill had shared with you. I've been doing that for years, only because Bill Esteb, years ago, has been trying to pound that into all of us. Be curious, be curious, be curious. Ask questions. Don't blurb out answers. Now, am I perfect with that? No, but I'm really good at catching myself. Ask questions. So I had the opportunity a few weeks ago. My mother's blood pressure, very strange. Our family's always had low blood pressure. You know, we're from the Mediterranean, 95 over 60. Actually not low. I would explain to my family when I got home from chiropractic school that was actually our normal. And that was the concept, you know, the innate intelligence, that your normal can be your normal and somebody else's might be 180 over 100, who knows. So my mom's blood pressure is going up, and my father's taking it 5 times a day, and he's writing it down on his list, because that's my dad, and finds that it goes over 200, but my mom feels great, no headaches, nothing, but it's 200 over 60. If it's a patient, you get to have this opportunity too. You get to say, I said to my mom and dad, why do you think it's doing that? And of course I knew they didn't know the answer. And my dad's like, I don't know, maybe she's stressed, maybe this, maybe she's eating too much salt, I don't, but at least they start thinking. They start thinking for themselves that it's not just, it's not a bad thing. So I said, well, think about it. If your heart is, that high number means that your heart is trying to pump the blood to your body, and it's trying really hard, and it's pumping very hard. And that bottom number is the resting. That means that the blood is, you know, it's in the blood vessels, and it's okay. It's not hyper, that's normal. So something tells me that, can you see that the blood is trying to get somewhere and your heart's trying to pump it, so maybe it's weak, or maybe there's a blockage? My dad goes, that makes sense. My brother calls me. He goes, what do you think's going on? I said, I don't know, Armin, what do you think? Why do you think her, and I went through the whole process again. Then I got to go through it with my sisters, and we're all on the same page. I got them to see that, I said, if you give her the blood pressure medication, okay, and it brings down that top number, does it make sense to you that the blood may not get to parts of her body that it needs to get to? And they're like, yeah, but it's over 200. Yeah, I get it. And maybe you want to use caution. If you're going to take blood pressure medication, use caution to not take too much, because that lower number, so she took some blood pressure medication, it went down to 130 over 50. Is that a good thing? So it's like having a clogged drain and knowing that you have to like squirt the water through it as hard and as fast as possible to unclog the drain, and you just trickle the water in. That's what the drug did. So we're in the process of, my mom's 87, and they're in process, yet we're also in process of trying, I'm not saying to them, don't take the drugs. I'm saying, let's just look at it logically. Let's figure out what her body's doing. So she finally went to a cardiologist who says, I think there's some kidney function going on. And think about it. Wouldn't your heart have to pump really hard to try to get the blood to go filter, increase the pressure to filter through the kidneys? So anyway, but that's, I just wanted to share with you just one example. There are so many. Many people this weekend have talked about healing coming from the inside. And I really believe that that is what Bill said about changing people's beliefs. That really is what my mission is. It has always been to help people see where they're at and see that they do have answers inside. Answers here, but answers within their physiology. And that if I can empower people that the answers are in there and that they are the healers. So that, and you've all heard me do this a million times, you have a strong body, you have a healthy body, your body knows how to heal you. And when people say, thank you, Dr. Patti, you helped me with blah, 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 I say, well, you can thank me for flipping the switches. And you can thank the genius and the wonder and the brilliance of the inner workings of your body and the genius that runs your body. That is what allowed you to take that little flip of a switch and change your physiology or have whatever happened to you that has happened as a result of an adjustment. I think that is the most important thing that we can keep saying. It's not chiropractic. I really, when I hear people say chiropractic, see, that's the power of chiropractic. It is the power of the wisdom and the genius of life inside of that person. It is not chiropractic. Please. I yelled at you. I must be getting older. It is my birthday tomorrow. So when we, in our office, Bill, how much time do I have?
7 minutes.
Okay. So a little bit about our practice. So we have a family wellness practice, and that means different things to different people. And I want to give you some statistics. So we have low new patients in our office and high visits. We basically, 85% of our practice is on what's called our wellness plan. That's after there's a first year plan where people come in and they're paying about $3,000 for the year. And then after that year, they go on what's called a wellness plan. 85% of our practice is on a wellness plan. So that means at the end of their year, they're handed their wellness plan form, and I have to tell you that we have less than 1% that don't sign up. We have about 200 people that have been under care in our office for over 20 years, once a week, okay? Now, do they all get chiropractic? No. Do they come in once a week and get on the table and get adjusted, and sometimes they bitch about this or that or whatever, and we always say, glad you're here, let's make sure your nerve system's clear. Let's sure we turn on all the switches so your body can deal with everything that you're dealing with. Every month, I sign thank you cards to at least 20 or so people that are renewing their wellness plans. So when some people say, oh, I get 20 new patients in a month, I count those as new people because they are re-signing for a whole new year. Make sense to you? And they've prepaid me for the whole year. $1,200 after your first year, $1,200 a year for the first adult, $1,200 for the second adult, and the rest of the family is part of the program. $2,400 for a family, but they all have to have started and paid the initial fee first, and then they can go to the wellness plan. That doesn't happen without having systems in place. We have systems in place. And every now and then, you know, we might tweak them and we might maybe go off the systems. Not often, no. And the systems are flexible enough that they fit that individual person, whoever they may be. And that's part of being in practice, is being flexible and not being so hard-nosed about this is how it's supposed to be, and we can't ever go out of that box. People are different, people have different personalities, and with our staff, we're like, the patient is always right. You never make them wrong. I never make them wrong on a first visit, second visit, or any visit. And it's hard, and sometimes I find words coming out of my mouth and I'm like, woo, let me take that back. People, again, it was like, Bill was like a perfect segue. People want to be heard, and they want to be loved. Don't we all want to be loved? And if we could just do two things in our office, is to gain the knowledge and the wisdom and the genius to keep our mouth shut when we should keep it shut, and to open it up with knowledge and compassion and love for those people that walk through our door. The fact that they walk through my door, I like go. The fact that you walk through my door says a lot in this culture nowadays, where they can easily go anywhere else, get a pill, have it paid for, and they walk through your door. Having 85% people on the wellness plan, 99.9% of the people that come in as new people are referrals from all of those people. So they know what to expect when they come in the office. The hardest people are the ones that come in from Google or wherever they come in from. And again, I had one in the last 2 months. And it was easy. She signed up for a year. So when you look at that, if you were to take the number of visits you see in a year, total visits, you divide it by the number of new people, it's called the PVA, practice visit average. Patient visit average. It's sort of a fictitious number, but it kind of gives you a pulse of your practice. And I've heard statistics, 35% is kind of the average, that people who have just a crisis care practice, it's 12 visits. People that have, educate their patients to some degree, it's 35. We just did ours, it was 220. So whether the number could be, it's a little fictitious, yet it does give you an idea of how long do people stay in your practice. So figure out that stat for yourself. And then if it's 35, realize that at that point, you need to do something right before that point to re-educate people and allow them to be reignited. I mean, what do? We come here to be reignited. What do you do for your people to have them get reignited? Take time. Now that there are 3 of us in the office, I'll sometimes pull somebody in the back office because I can tell they're getting a little antsy. I'm like, let me tell you what I'm seeing in your spine. And I put them down and go, Dr. Patti, thank you so much for taking the time to do that. Every now and then, we just need to be re-encouraged and just, re-stimulated for, just for, to allow us to still be motivated to do things. So I would rather see 1,000 people a week and make $1,000, and 1,000 people a week and make $1 a person, than to see 100 people a week and make the same amount of money, because then I get to impact people more in my life. That little girl, the little girl from the beach, she went up to who she thought was the wisest woman on the planet and said to her, "How can I be like you?" And the wise woman said, "You can only be like yourself. You can't be like me. Yet if you remember these 4 words, you too can become the wisest woman." First word is think. Think about the principles and the values that you live your life by. The second word is believe. Believe in yourself based on the principles and the philosophy and the values in your life. The third word is to dream. Dream about all the amazing things that you could do based on your philosophy and your principles and the values that you've created for your life. And as Irene Gold picked up the little girl and looked into her eyes and said, the last word is dare. First, I want to dare myself, and then I want to dare you all to make a difference in chiropractic. Thank you.